What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City live watch-along. Today, we're going to be doing the live watch-along of Manchester City's Champions League match against Young Boys of Bern. It is the group stage, Group G, match day number 4, Manchester City. We've already played 3 games, 3 wins. It means if we win today, we're into the last 16 of the Champions League. We don't have to think about first place right now. That cannot be sealed, but results today can near enough guarantee that Manchester City are going to finish first, but that's not going to be mathematically confirmed for today. Everything's in our own hands, so it's very simple. Win this game, we'll go into the last 16 of the Champions League, and that is what is at stake for this game at the Etihad Stadium on this cold, wet, and windy night in Manchester. So before I do crack on with this live watch-along, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. So any help towards my next aim of 33,000 subscribers would be much appreciated. Now less than 1,000 subs away from that goal. So any help towards that would be great. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and check out my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok. Also, don't forget as well to go and check out my email link. That is in the description if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 100 likes is the aim once more. We've already made a great start to this live watch along with us already surpassing 20 likes. We're now on 24 likes. So we're only 76 likes away from 100 likes. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to go and what else have we got? Share, like, comment. There we go. I'm not feeling too great, but we plod along. We plod along. Don't forget to in the live chat, we've got that rolling. If you want to, do go and leave your thoughts, including your where you're tuning in from, and also your score prediction for this game. Already in the chat, I can see that we've got Arian. Is that how you say your name? I hope you're well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. I will give my prediction once I've gone through the team, and we will speak more about, of course, no Rodri for Manchester City, which is just one of many interesting calls made by Pep Guardiola this evening. Teddy, thanks very much for tuning in, going for an emphatic 4-0 win for Manchester City as well, which I hope you're right. That would be fantastic. I'm satisfied with any win. Injury-free takes us with momentum into the big game against Chelsea at the weekend. So yeah, do let me know where you're tuning in from around the world. And as I said, do leave your score prediction in the live chat. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to go and speak about the teams. The teams have been announced. So I think now is the good time to go and have a look at the teams and make some predictions from there about what we think is going to happen, where this game could potentially be won and lost. And of course, big calls by Pep Guardiola as well. So let's have a look at the teams. We're going to start off first by looking at our opponents. Young Boys, just using Sky Sports links here. Young Boys are whopping 28-1 to win this game, which is staggering. 12-1 for the draw. Manchester City already without a ball being kicked, 20-1 on to win this game. And Young Boys, I didn't think were too bad at the Watchalong Stadium in Switzerland a couple of weeks back. So yeah, there we go. Interesting with them odds. So, Young Boys, our opponents for today, they're lining up with Raciopi in goal. They've got Janko starting along with Amenda, Kamara, their captain, and Benito. Them two are going to be their 2 centre-backs, Kamara and Benito. They've also got Garcia, Nias, Lorpa, Greenwich going out wide along with Elliott and Itten as well. The expected front three there that we spoke about in more detail in my preview. In particular, this man right here, Elliott, I thought he had a very good game in Switzerland. He's got pace, precision, and he knows where the back of the net is, so he needs to be kept quiet. And this man right here, Itten, he's a decent player too. So Manchester City, to me, Young Boys' best outlet here is attack. They've got some good attacking players. So City, as I said, just need to be careful of that high line. I think this is good practice for our match against Chelsea on Sunday, as they're going to be expecting City to play that high line. And as you saw from yesterday's Premier League game, albeit Spurs were down to 9 men, but Chelsea exploited in the end a useful way to expose the high line, and they'll be looking to try and do the same to Manchester City. And Young Boys will try and do that as well. So it's good practice for that game with Chelsea at the weekend. As you can see, Young Boys have gone with an extra couple of players, as they've obviously got a bigger squad than Manchester City, go with an extra couple of players on the bench. So on the bench for Young Boys, you've got Colley, Chewa, Nsame, Person, Rudhani, how you say his name? Not sure. Van Bournemouth, Blum, Lustenberger, Guau, Malez, Marzino, and Monteiro as well on the bench for Young Boys. For Manchester City then, starting today with Ederson in goal. It is going to be a back three of Manuel Akanji, which will give rest for Kyle Walker, which is fantastic. Ruben Dias, captain in the side today, going through the middle, and Josko Gvardiol on the left-hand side. It means we're going to have a nice, full, fresh Nathan Ake and a nice, full, fresh Kyle Walker ready for the match against Chelsea. In defensive midfield, I was expecting John Stones, as he's only just come back from injury in the last month. I was expecting him to be the one that was rotated, but no, Man City have taken the opportunity here to rotate Rodri instead, and John Stones given the nod. So no Rodri for Manchester City starting today. He's on the bench. You can see his name right there, which I think is arguably the biggest call made here by Pep Guardiola, because Man City, there's no doubt about it, our midfield looks more fluent, it looks better with Rodri starting in it. But Pep, in the press conference, in the build-up to this match, has been stopped nothing short of praise for John Stones, putting all his trust in John Stones, and John Stones will be taking over that Rodri role today. So it'll be interesting to see how John Stones does. And it'll be interesting to see who's going to drop into that pocket, because Rico Lewis likes to get forward. And I suspect it's going to be one or both of Mateo Kovacic and Matheus Nunes, both starting, both fresh new summer signings for Manchester City's midfield in the summer. So I presume it means this man, Phil Foden, is going to go on the right wing with Jack Grealish on the left wing, which is the next big call, as this man right here, Jeremy Doku, 1 goal, 4 assists in his last game, doesn't start in this game. Very interesting. Clearly, City just taking their time here to rotate the team, make sure we've got some important players who are nice and fresh, ready for Chelsea. Just looking at that bench, Bernardo Silva, Julian Alvarez, Rodri, Jeremy Doku, Nathan Ake, Kyle Walker, all fit, all ready, all fresh for Chelsea. So it is good to see. And then arguably the biggest call of them all, there was questions about whether Erling Haaland was going to be starting in this game. We've got a massive match against Chelsea. He limps off at half-time against Bournemouth, and Erling Haaland has been selected for this match. Now, my only thing I can think of here is Manchester City are not that concerned about Erling Haaland's injury and have decided to give him the nod here. I presume that Erling Haaland's only going to do one half, and he will come off at half-time for this man, Julian Alvarez, so it allows both the players to have 45 minutes off and a bit of rotation there for the two players. I imagine with how strong that Man City attack is, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Erling Haaland, surely Manchester City must be thinking to themselves, the sooner we get 3 goals in this game and get this match tied up and sorted, the better. We want to be fresh and ready for that match against Chelsea. We can only do that if we don't make hard work of Young Boys in this game. We've gone with a very strong team. I'm a bit iffy about the midfield. I'm very happy with the defence. I'm delighted with the attack. It smells of goals here for Manchester City. So as long as we're clinical, I think City are going to try and get this job done sooner rather than later. Looking for some big performances in this team. Some little bits of a selection headache for Pep Guardiola. This man, Manuel Akanji, goal scorer in Switzerland. He'll have a point to prove. He'll want to start against Chelsea. And of course, them big Premier League matches that we've got coming up after the international break. Liverpool at home, Tottenham Hotspur at home, Aston Villa away, RB Leipzig at home, sandwiched in that to seal first place in the Champions League. So many big games here. Lots of minutes, lots of opportunities available. So players, if you wanted to give a bit of a selection headache, I'm looking towards Akanji. I'm looking towards Rico Lewis. I'm looking towards Kovacic, Matheus Nunes, and this man here, Jack Grealish. It would be great, and it's all fine and well going out there, putting in a good performance and playing well and doing his job well. But at the end of the day, Jeremy Doku is a lot of people's favourites right now because he's grabbing them goals and getting them assists. And that is, at the end of the day, what Jack Grealish needs to do more of. This is a big game here for Jack Grealish, given the nod on that left-hand side. Hopefully, he can show faith in Pep Guardiola and go out there and give Pep a real selection headache against Chelsea, who, as you saw yesterday in the match against Spurs, have got power, precision, and pace out wide. So someone like Jack Grealish could be really useful against Chelsea, just like he was at Old Trafford in the Manchester derby. Big game, big performance. Every single game in the Champions League so far this season has finished 3-1 to Manchester City. So I'm going for a 3-1 victory today for Manchester City. That's my score prediction. Do let me know your score predictions in the live chat. I'm going for goals today. 1 for Erling Haaland. I'm going back Jack Grealish to grab a goal as well for Manchester City before half-time, and City round it off in the second half with a goal. I'm going for Mateo Kovacic to get his City account underway, and I reckon Elliot grabbing a goal back later on in the second half once City take the foot off the gas, and I'm going with Elliot to grab a goal for Young Boys, which would be a famous goal. It'd be a big goal for them, of course, at the Etihad Stadium against the European champions. And let's not forget, by the way, that Young Boys can still qualify for the last 16. Yes, they'll need a favour from Red Star in Belgrade today as they're taking on RB Leipzig. But if they do, all of a sudden, Group G opens up, and that last second spot into the last 16 of the Champions League, it's all to play for, whether that be Crvena Zvezda, whether that be RB Leipzig, or whether that be the Young Boys of Bern. It does mean we'll have to keep an eye on what is happening in Serbia, and of course, I will keep you guys up to date every single step of the way with everything happening, of course, around the grounds today in the Champions League and in England as well. Barry, thanks very much for tuning in. Says, where is Sergio Gomez? Well, he entered the stadium against Bournemouth at the weekend on crutches. We've not really had much of an update since then on Sergio Gomez, but the fact that he's having to use crutches tells me that something is the matter with Sergio Gomez. So I don't think we're going to see any of Sergio Gomez this side of the international break. We'll wait for further clarification and an update on what the symptoms are and what his recovery date is and when we expect him to be back. Because otherwise, Sergio Gomez could have been good to go for this game. I do apologise. I don't feel 100%. So if I end up coughing or just turning away and clearing my throat, then that is what's happening. Having to have the drink on supply to make sure that my throat is staying nice and hydrated because it's feeling very sore and very rough at the moment. Teddy, thanks so much for tuning in all the way from Nairobi. Love that one. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I said, do let me know where you're tuning in from. I am very nosy. John says tuning in from Blackpool, going for City to win this game by 4-0. Love that one. And thanks so much to John once more for tuning in. Julia as well, regular here on the JSGC channel, says, hello, Jay. Hello, Blackpool as well. I like Blackpool. It's the hometown of JSGC. Tom, thanks for tuning in, saying, like this team. I think it's going to be 3-0 at half-time. We're going to see Oscar Bobb come on at half-time as well. Love that one. Nice and positive. City looking to try and wrap this up. And I think you might be right. City will have one eye on Chelsea. And so for us to do that, we have to go out there and get a comprehensive, convincing win and get them goals sooner rather than later. Tom, thank you very much for your kind comment as well. Says, don't forget to like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Just let me know that you are enjoying the videos. Remember, we are on that push to 100 likes. We're now just 67 likes away. So any help towards that will be much appreciated. And do subscribe. It is free to subscribe. We've smashed 32,000 subscribers and on that big climb now to 33,000 subscribers. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. And Tom, thank you so much for your kind comment. And John, thank you for agreeing with them kind comments as well. Much appreciated. So welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Do let me know your score predictions in the live chat and do let me know where you are tuning in from. Now, just having a watch of TNT Sports, which is where the game's been streamed today live in the UK. I've just been watching the Newcastle game, a massive blow for Newcastle, losing by 2-0 away at Borussia Dortmund, which means they're now in a lot of bother when it comes to their Champions League group. They're needing, obviously, a win at St. James's Park against AC Milan, potentially needing a win in Paris as well, which is going to be very difficult to do. So Newcastle got a mountain to climb there if it comes to qualification to the last 16 of the Champions League. But yeah, just because I've had that on, I just need to change the channel to put City's game on. And I just came across, because they're showing British teams obviously as the priority here in Britain, and they're just showing the build-up to Celtic's game away against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. And I just can't quite believe just how tanned Brendan Rodgers is, manager, of course, at Celtic. There we go. Nice and hydrated. Right, we've got the right channel on now. There we go. I don't think I'm going to have a bet. As if I was, my recommendations for any of you guys, I think, I fancy a Manchester City win, 10 plus corners, and if I was flirting with goals any time and you wanted an outsider outside of the Haalands and the Fodens, I'd potentially go with Mateo Kovacic, I think would be my outsider. And you do have to think about, if you're going with anything Haaland based, I don't think he's going to do more than a half here in this match. Rightio, I'm just getting my betmate team sorted for this pot. Excuse me. Tom, I like that one. Going with Matheus Nunes to open his account. I think either Kovacic or Nunes is going to open their account today. I'm just debating. I'm keeping Haaland in my betmate team because he's just too good of a player to not have in my betmate team. I'm just wondering about, I've got him as my captain. I don't think that's the best thing to do. So I'm actually going to change my captain up, because I don't think he's going to do more than a half, but I want some points, and I think he's near enough guaranteed a goal here. He loves scoring, so I'm going for that. Andy and Alison, thank you very much for tuning in from York, over in Yorkshire. Says, dare I say, team selection looking good, and it's a strong bench from Manchester City, so the bench looking nice and strong as well. Says, don't normally do predictions, but should be winning this comprehensively. However, think back to Basel at home. You've always got to be apprehensive when it comes to Champions League. You can't take anything for granted. And I think over the last 4 years or so in the Champions League, I think Manchester City have matured a lot in that time. And I think Manchester City don't underestimate anymore. I don't think Manchester City overthink too much either. And I think Manchester City have just kind of adapted themselves into that mentality of Champions League football, which means Manchester City know that they've got a job to do, and that's to win this game. And I think City will do everything they can to win this game, to achieve that aim. And they'll know against Leipzig in the next match that as long as they avoid defeat against Leipzig, that gets the job done as well. So they'll do everything they can to get that job done, to put themselves in a stronger position as possible, because that it could be crucial in that busy December schedule. And let's not forget, we've got a Club World Cup in December as well. So our busy December schedule gets even busier. It does mean that having a game spare to go in the Champions League, where we've achieved our aim of the last 16 and in first place as well, means you can take the youth team basically to Belgrade and give them a chance, whilst players can have a few days off, which in December is a rare thing to happen. So that's what City are playing for here, in my opinion. City are obviously going to seal qualification at some point. You want to do it ASAP. You want to do it at the earliest opportunity. And to me, tonight is as good a night as any to get that one done at the first chance of asking. Leave nothing to chance, which I'm sure Manchester City will do. John, love that outrageous prediction. Love that one. Bicycle kick from the other side of the pitch, because why not? Boy Racer, thanks so much for tuning in. Says, Rodri, need to rest him at any chance that we've got. And City taking the opportunity here to rest Rodri. And I agree. I completely agree. I think what Manchester City need to do is don't even think about sending Rodri onto the pitch. Leave him on the bench. Give him a full 90 minutes off. Leave him ready to go for Chelsea, because it is, at the end of the day, all about rotation at this point in the season when you're playing every 3 to 4 days. Got a huge game at the weekend. In retrospect, this game isn't that important to Manchester City. And I look at the quality on the pitch, and I think Chelsea away is, on paper, going to be a lot more difficult than Young Boys at home. But I'm not taking Young Boys for granted. We've got a job to do. We need to turn up and we need to play a good game, because if we don't, they will punish us. They've already done that before at the Watchalong Stadium. They punished Manchester City in grabbing a goal that day, and we made hard work of it. We need to not do that in this game, as we've got the light show happening at the Etihad right now. Excuse me. I even sound a bit grotty at the moment. So apologies for that. Right, we're on the countdown to kickoff. Players are into the tunnel now and nearly ready to go here, as Young Boys just showing. You can see in the tunnel there, 3 or 4 of their players are massive. They are big. They are tall. There is physical presence, set pieces. City need to be careful. I mean, John Stones must be, what, 6'2", 6'3"? A couple of them Young Boys players, they are towering above Johnny Stones. Absolutely towering above him. Ruben Dias made to look small. I mean, Erling Haaland's 6'4". And there's a couple of them Young Boys players that are bigger than he is. Couple of massive units in that team. Set pieces, City need to be careful. And I've got used to it. I've got used to it. Once you're over that and you move past it, maybe JSGC's maturing. It is irony of the highest order, though, isn't it? The Watchalong Stadium where Young Boys play. YouTube, don't demonetize me, please. Very smoky Etihad. We'll just have bonfire night here on the 5th of November. And lots of pyrotechnics on show, of course, for the light show, which is what the smoke is. The Champions League anthem then plays at the Etihad. So if you're watching at home, feel free to boo along with the crowd. Manchester City still never took to UEFA, their ways, their music, their anthem. And of course, lots of people wonder about why Manchester City fans boo it. If you just do a little bit of digging, you'll find out why. But I think one of the biggest main reasons that you've got is the incident that we had. I think it was 2014 when CSKA Moscow were playing Manchester City, and that was to be played behind closed doors. That was announced at short notice after fans had already booked and arranged travel to go to Moscow and weren't allowed in. A wasted trip, and they struggled to get the money back, and UEFA showed no real care. And then it turns out near enough 1,000 Moscow fans have managed to get inside the stadium and watch the game, whilst Manchester City were getting punished basically for no fault of our own. And ever since then, you've had the fines, you've had the thing with CAS and everything. It's just a very frictioned relationship over the last decade or so. But Manchester City just slowly worming their way in through the corporate side of things when it comes to UEFA, and trying to ease things when it comes to the boardroom, and it's coming to the executives and the chiefs at Manchester City. But when it comes to the fans, there's just no love there for UEFA at all. So there we go. Very interesting. The south stand where the away fans are in level 1, there's like a handful of fans. There can't be any more than 20 fans in there, because for some strange reason, all the Young Boys fans are on the second tier. You can see a little sea of yellow. There must be around 1,000, maybe just a little bit less. Fair credit to them travelling from Switzerland. Not an easy journey there. And hope they do enjoy their time at the Etihad Stadium. Of course, results pending. Hopefully, Manchester City will be able to get the job done. No questions asked. So Kamara on a yellow card warning, the captain and centre-back for Young Boys today. He picks up a yellow card. He will be suspended for their next game when they take on Crvena Zvezda of Serbia. Excuse me. Although seeing more than a handful of fans now coming into South Stand Level 1, I don't know where them fans have just come from. I don't know whether they were down on the concourse or something and just made the way up, or there's a group of fans that's been escorted in late, or maybe in hospitality or some kind of package on the pitch, or I have no idea. Anyway, Manchester City are going to get this game underway, attacking from left to right, playing in their home shirts of sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Attacking from left to right with Young Boys playing in their bumblebee colours of yellow and black stripes, black shorts, yellow socks, attacking from right to left. And Manchester City do get us underway for this game. And it is Matheus Nunes that gets us underway here at the Etihad Stadium. So City just playing out from the back. The ball was worked back to Ederson from kickoff. Combination of John Stones and Ruben Dias has pushed Manchester City further forward. Josko Gvardiol's got hold of the ball here, just close to the Young Boys half. Ball worked to the right-hand side. Kyle Walker now does get the ball into the Young Boys half, and Phil Foden goes down under a heavy challenge there from Young Boys. No free kick given, and City can get the ball back, although momentarily, because Young Boys can play that ball further forward, and a sliding interception has to come in from Ruben Dias, which means Young Boys are going to have a throw-in halfway inside Manchester City's half there. A bit scrappy to start this opening minute. Mick Sid, thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Teddy, love that prediction. Hat-trick in the first half for Haaland, a goal for Foden, wrapping things up. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it, really? Boy Racer showing some love for Blackpool in the comments. Mick Sid won't like that, of course, being a Preston North End fan and having a bitter rivalry with the West Lancashire rivals in Blackpool Football Club. JSGC has nothing but appreciation for Blackpool, as I said, is the hometown of yours truly, JSGC. So I have many comments about Blackpool, but I don't like to badmouth my hometown, so I won't. And it's around about now, out of season, where it starts to be enjoyable for me, in my opinion. And so City just worked the ball forward, not the best of balls forward from City, and they're not really beating the initial press from Young Boys. Twice they tried through balls. Twice it was blocked on the slide. There you go, Mick Sid. Hates the football club. Always has a good time in Blackpool. I'm not a real fan of it in season. Tracks some, not everybody, large majority of people visiting Blackpool or from Blackpool tend to be decent people every now and then. Yeah, and visit anywhere you come across idiots. There we go. Idiots. Here's City then coming forward. Oh, excuse me. Here is Rico Lewis then into the penalty area. Works it to the outside of the penalty area. Here's Mateo Kovacic twisting in, twisting out. Foden, he goes for the cross, and I think he should have gone for the shot. Right, I don't really get the Young Boys fans. There's that section behind the goal now is pretty full, and it's literally everybody's dressed in black, like they're a bunch of hooligans going. They're jumping up and down. I wonder if they've got any pyrotechnics going on. I don't really get what's going on and why they weren't, because European fans tend to come up very early and get the atmosphere going, whether they're home or away. Police like away fans to be in the stadium nice and early. They were nowhere to be seen during the Champions League anthem, but now the game's underway. They're out there in good numbers. So it looks like they've brought 2 tiers of fans, unless the fans have been up on the second tier to make a display and have moved down with permission. I do not know. I do not know. This is the fascination I have with Champions League matches and Champions League fans. It's different, very different. Here is Kyle Walker then for Manchester City. Just gives the ball to Ruben Dias. Don't forget, leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well if you are new around here. We are aiming for 100 likes. We are nearly on 50 likes now. We're just 11 away. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well if you are new around here as well. That would be fantastic. Teddy reckons Ederson's going to have a wonder save to make in the second half as well. Made an incredible save in that Champions League final late on against Inter Milan, didn't he? I think Ederson's took a lot of confidence from that too. Here is Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. Gives the ball to Josko Gvardiol. New signing, excuse me, from RB Leipzig in the summer. Brought in for over £70 million. Complementing Manchester City's defence very well. Here is Kyle Walker. Gives the ball to Super Johnny Stones. Kovacic. So it looks like he's playing in the deeper role, and Matheus Nunes going to be playing behind the striker. Nunes crying for the ball there, stares at John Stones. That's not going to do him any favours. John Stones a very well-liked figure at Manchester City. And Nunes has words with Jack Grealish there for not receiving the ball. He's twice held his hands up, wanted the ball and wanted the pass and not got it. As Jack Grealish played in here. Flag stays down. Rico Lewis surely cleared off the line and out for a corner. Looked like there might have been offside in there somewhere. And Benito it is with the block. First big opportunity for Manchester City. And that really should have been 1-0. Jack Grealish was onside. Rico Lewis really should have scored. He beats the keeper, but he doesn't beat Benito on the line. And there's no real conviction there from Rico Lewis. He's just playing it on the ground, trying to just just kind of pass that ball into the back of the net. He just needed to put his foot through that. Rico Lewis doesn't score many. I thought he should have bagged that one. Grealish to take the corner here for Manchester City. Young Boys fans. They're a bit bonkers behind the goal there. Very entertaining. Dressed in all black. Corner here for Grealish. Who does he work that to? It's deep, way too deep. Cleared near the opposite corner flag by Young Boys. Not a very good corner that from Jack Grealish. So there's a big sea of yellow from Young Boys at the top. So I think they're just going for a bit of colour coordination because their colours are yellow and black. Yeah, so everybody's got yellow T-shirts on in the Young Boys end. I mean, they've got the third tier as well. Well, they've brought more than... I think they've brought maybe 2,000 down. It looks pretty empty towards the top of the third tier, but I respect that from Young Boys. I really do respect that. So the bottom tiers, everybody's wearing black. Everyone in the second tier is wearing yellow, and then a bit of a mixture of colours in the third tier. Looking to try and replicate the club's colours of yellow and black, of course, the bumblebee colour is what they're going for. That's a great ball to Phil Foden on the right wing here for Manchester City. 8 minutes in at the Etihad. 0-0. Johnny Stones takes 2 steps forward, moves the ball to Foden. Matheus Nunes having to drop a bit deeper to receive the ball. Kyle Walker, captain for Manchester City today. I thought Kyle Walker weren't starting this game. Why is Manuel Akanji? Where's Akanji gone? What's happened there? Eh? What's happened? Have Sky Sports got the team wrong? Fairly sure I saw Akanji's name on the starting lineup for Manchester City. I'm just having a look what's happened and why that change has come about. Anyway, here's Phil Foden on the right wing. Inside the Young Boys half, Rico Lewis works it to the edge of the penalty area. Here's John Stones going for a John Stones rocket. Takes a deflection. Phil Foden keeps it in. Cross comes in. Headed clear by Young Boys. Nice positive start this for Manchester City so far. Kyle Walker to Matheus Nunes. Antoine Griezmann has just given Atletico Madrid the lead in Madrid against Celtic. Yes, Manuel Akanji's ill. I don't even think he's on the bench. I don't really get how you get so ill right before kickoff, but clearly something's happened there with Akanji. And Kyle Walker starts as we're now just 7 likes away from 50 likes and halfway to our goal of 100 likes. So any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well if you are new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. 10 minutes in here at the Etihad. It's Manchester City 0, Young Boys with Burn 0. John, yes, there is a JSGC sticker. I'm not too sure if it's still up at Bloomfield Road, but if you head towards the stand that's closest to the promenade, if you go and look up at one of the hoardings, it's up just near one of the turnstiles. There's Haaland in space and has a shot and saved by the goalkeeper. Look to try and round the keeper. I think Haaland did well just to get a shot away there. He was a bit late with his run, but he takes the touch and the keeper was at a dodgy angle. Haaland fancied the shot there. It'd have been better just stopping and pulling back, but natural finisher Haaland wants the shot, has a shot at the keeper and saved, and it stays 0-0. So Xavi Simons has just given RB Leipzig the lead in Belgrade, which means, as it stands, Young Boys and Red Star are going out of the Champions League. Young Boys need a win here. They needed a favour off Red Star if they're not to win here. Not happening at the moment. 0-0 here. 11 minutes in. Young Boys into the Manchester City half for the second time in the game. And it's not a good pass from Young Boys. Out for a throw into Manchester City. Halfway inside the Manchester City half. It was Lamar, I think it was, with the pass that went astray. Here is John Stones. Gives the ball to Ruben Dias. And 2 passes later, Manchester City are into the Young Boys half. Josko Gvardiol with the ball. Just being worked backwards here by City. Ederson gives the ball to Matheus Nunes. Lovely from Nunes. Really good from Nunes. And his pass just isn't there at the end. Looking to try and thread through Erling Haaland. Just drops into space. Runs right through Young Boys midfield. I'm surprised he didn't have a shot, you know. It opened up for him. There was space. Right idea by Nunes. Just not quite the pass. It looks a bit frustrated, Matheus Nunes. Always just feel like he's trying to force it too much. Young Boys go long with the ball. Header won by Kyle Walker. Does well there because Young Boys could have been in if he didn't win that in the air. Ruben Dias brings Manchester City forward. Gvardiol gives it to Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish cutting inside now. He's got the runner Kovacic. Gives the ball to Nunes. Kovacic receives it eventually. Not before there's no threat really on that left-hand side. And the ball comes across to Phil Foden. He loops a header up. Erling Haaland had just drifted out to the left-hand side because Grealish had cut inside. So Haaland wasn't there to challenge the keeper. So an easy catch in the end for the goalkeeper. And Young Boys can just try and play this ball forward. 13 minutes in here at the Etihad, 0-0. And City dominated the ball. Not being any real clear-cut chances to report on as of yet, other than that Rico Lewis opportunity, which was blocked well on the line. Other than that, though, it's very much been Man City looking to try and work something. but no real end product. And City not found the clinicalness to find the back of the net as of yet. There's another minute drifts on by. 14 minutes in, nearly through the first phase of this game. Here's Erling Haaland. It's lovely. It's a great pass. Kovacic through the legs. Goes down. He wants a pen. I think he's given a free kick. The referee says contact happened outside the penalty area. It looked like it had just opened up, and it looked like it might have been the moment that Kovacic finds his first City goal. Challenge comes in. I mean, it's right on the edge of the penalty area, that. Let's have a look. Yeah. And he's right on the line, that. Right on the line. VAR will, of course, have a look at that to see if it is in the penalty area. I don't think it is. I think it's right on the line. This is going to be very difficult for City to get this up and over. This is one of those where you'd go under the wall traditionally, but I'm sure Young Boys will lie somebody in front of the wall. Loris Benito, centre-back, goes into the book for the challenge, the cynical foul on Kovacic to stop him getting a strike away at goal. And this good position for City, but I think this might just be too close for my liking. It's going to be very difficult to get this up and over. If they don't lie a man out in front of the wall, I'd be tempted to go under the wall here. Doesn't look like they are lying anybody down. A De Bruyne special. Cardiff away when he did it. City clearly having a word and working on something here. I wonder if the defenders are just letting the attackers know nobody's lying down. Defenders know how to defend the set pieces. Kyle Walker's working something. What are City going to do here? Oh, they are lying somebody down now. All right, City want the 10 yards. They feel like they're not 10 yards away. Right, here's City then. Moaning and moaning. Kyle Walker has a shot blocked. Foden! Save again by the keeper and out for a corner. The offside flag never came up. It's a good strike by Kyle Walker. It's on target. It stings the hands of the keeper. Phil Foden, does he keep himself on side? The answer is no. Wouldn't have counted. It's a good save from the keeper. I think Phil Foden should be finding the back of the net there. In the end, just a corner. Nunes takes a good corner, headed clear from an advancing Josko Gvardiol from Young Boys, and Manchester City will have to build up from the back again. Is Jackie G, 3 around him. Got the support of Kovacic. Gives it to Ruben Dias. City got everybody camped inside the Young Boys half. 17 minutes in, though. The holding firm here, Young Boys, 0-0. Here's Kyle Walker. Matheus Nunes. You know what? Doing well, Matheus Nunes at the mo. Having a good game for City, I think. Here's Foden. Great ball into the channel. Here's Rico Lewis. What can he do with it? Can't find an accurate pass. Young Boys get a foot onto that. So interesting comments made by Pep pre-match about Rico Lewis. Said he loves Rico Lewis, loves what he stands for, loves him as a player. He says if Rico Lewis was a little bit taller, 2 or 3 inches taller, he thinks he'd be one of the best players in the Premier League. He said he's not got the physique, so he has to work like a little bit harder to play catch up. I mean, Rico Lewis, I don't know how tall Rico Lewis is. He must be, what, 5'6", 5'7"? Pep Guardiola probably just wanted him to be around the 5'8", 5'9" mark. I mean, if he had the physique, I mean, he added a good, few inches onto him and made him around 6 foot tall, he would be one of the best players. He really would in the Premier League. Here's Rico Lewis. Yellow card comes out for a foul on Jack Grealish. He just got stood on accidentally there. And it's Lauper. I think the man's going to be punished and into the book. He's slightly late, clips Jack Grealish's boot with the top of his stud and into the book. Free kick City. It is Sandro Lorpa with a wayward pass earlier in City's half to break down a Young Boys attack that goes into the book. Second player into the book for Young Boys following the earlier yellow card of Benito, their centre-back. 19 minutes in, 0-0. Rico Lewis plays a ball into the channel. Here's Phil Foden. John Stones has made the run. Use him. Johnny Stones goes first time across. It's blocked only as far as John Stones once more. He'll keep it in. Excuse me. Gives it to Ruben Dias. That's Croatia. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Sloppy from City, and Young Boys have their first chance on goal here. It's great defending from Ruben Dias. Stops any shot from coming away. Attacker shows too much of it to him. I think it was Itten showing too much to Ruben Dias. Gets a foot on it and makes the interception. And City can come forward here. It is Erling Haaland now on the left-hand side. He's got support through Mateo Kovacic. He uses Kovacic. Haaland wants to centralise himself. Jack Grealish doesn't use Haaland's run. Goes to the centre, though. Goes to John Stones. Here's Matheus Nunes pivoting himself. Kyle Walker wants it. Receives it. On the right-hand side. Turns back into the centre. Gives it to Matheus Nunes. Here is Mateo Kovacic now. Gives the ball to Ruben Dias. No real movement. So it has to go to the left. And Gvardiol takes over the control of the ball. Works it first time to Grealish. So good ball from Grealish into Kyle Walker. Here's Phil Foden on the right-hand side. You're seeing a good English combination, that triangle from Kyle Walker, John Stones and Phil Foden. That's a good ball into the channel. Here is Phil Foden on the right-hand side. Tries to play a ball across. And it's good defending once more from Young Boys. And they can come away with the ball and see off the danger. 20 minutes in, 0-0. We're now just 5 likes away from 50 likes. The Young Boys from the second tier have taken off their yellow T-shirts now and decided to chuck them down into the lower tier. I'm not too sure what's going on, if I'm honest. Here's Phil Foden, drives forward. Rico Lewis takes a heavy touch. Good turn, penalty surely, yeah. Penalty given. So lovely disguised turn. It's Matheus Nunes. I said he's been playing well. He's looked lively. He's been pivoting well. Pivots past Lorpa. He's just been put on a yellow card. He's late to the challenge. He doesn't get the ball. He does get the man. It's a penalty every single day. Matheus Nunes says, thank you very much. I'm going to win that penalty. Down he goes. City fans are crying for a second yellow card and want him sent off. It's not a bookable challenge, that, for me. It's a penalty, though, and a chance here. Big chance for Manchester City to take the lead. And who else but Erling brought Haaland to take for Manchester City 22 minutes in to give City the lead. The Viking then scored once, scored twice at the Wankdorf Stadium, looking to make it another goal against Young Boys and add to his tally in the Champions League. Erling Haaland then races up, and of course he puts the ball into the back of the net, sends the keeper the wrong way. Manchester City are underway. Erling Haaland's goal scoring for this evening underway as well. And Manchester City now have got all their eyes on the Champions League last 16. It's Erling Haaland from the spot. It's what the fans wanted to see. They paid the money to see the best. They get to see the best, and they get to see the best striker in the world stroke the ball home into the back of the net. And it's Manchester City that lead here with the opening goal at the Etihad. Manchester City lead from the penalty spot. It's Erling Haaland with the goal on 23 minutes. Manchester City 1, Young Boys 0. Coolly tucked away, just sends the keeper the wrong way. I know a few people have been criticising Haaland's technique, saying his technique for taking penalties is just vibes. He just gives the keeper the eyes, watches the keeper go one way, and I'm going to stroke the ball the other. Coolly slotted away. And I just feel like Haaland's confidence over the last 3 or 4 weeks has just continued to climb and get better and better and better. And I can see Erling Haaland over the next few weeks having a lot of fun as long as he keeps himself injury-free. Erling Haaland just slipped then. He went to chase down the keeper. He normally goes full pelt to press the keeper, and he just slightly just pulled up a little bit. I don't know if he's pulled something when falling over there. I don't know if it's just due to it raining in Manchester and the surface just being slightly greasy that's forced him to slip over, but he's on his feet, he's moving about, which is good news. And I think we're all just a little bit on edge when it comes to Erling Haaland and Pep Guardiola taking that risk, considering he limped off at half-time against Bournemouth at the weekend. That 3 days later, he's starting him here in a Champions League match, in a match where Man City probably don't need Erling Haaland to win, to win this game. So a nice, bright start for City, rewarded from the penalty spot and a good ball played forward. Keeper a little bit slow to get going there, and Matheus Nunes, again, making a nuisance of himself, means the goalkeeper has to do something there, and it's given away cheaply by Young Boys, and City can have the ball back inside the Young Boys half. Here is Josko Gvardiol, plays the ball ahead of Jack Grealish, intercepted well by Young Boys. They can get the ball clear down the line, mopped up well by Manchester City, and Josko Gvardiol can just work a pass back to Ederson. 25 minutes in at the Etihad, City lead by 1-0. Rico Lewis now for Manchester City. Gives the ball to Kyle Walker. It's like a little motto, isn't it, Julia? Who else but Haaland? I said he's just starting to find his feet again once more. I think maybe he's had a bit of adjusting to do with no Kevin De Bruyne there, but still just looks as sharp and as good as ever. What a ball from Ederson to Gvardiol, and he does so well to keep it in. And Grealish now in the penalty area. He's surrounded by a yellow wall, so he's had to go backwards. Matheus Nunes goes for an audacious chip. Defended really well by Young Boys, and they can get that ball clear and to the right-hand side as well. Fancy feet shown here by Elia, goes up against Josko Gvardiol, does him for pace towards the penalty area. He's got nowhere to go. He's got no support. He does really well to get a throw in there for Young Boys, just next to Manchester City's penalty area on their right-hand side. Manchester City's left. I think it's important that Young Boys don't concede a game before half-time. I think if City get a killer second goal, that could be it for the match, to be honest. Here's Young Boys coming forward down the right-hand side. Cross comes in, doesn't beat the first man. It's not a very good ball, and it's not a great touch from Haaland. It means that Young Boys can have the ball, but that's a lovely interception from Kovacic. He's playing well, and he buys a free kick, and that will allow Manchester City just to push everybody further forward, slow the tempo of this game down, and have more control on this game. 27 minutes in, City lead by 1-0. That hat-trick for Haaland, of course, is on. Kovacic to Matheus Nunes, slightly behind Kovacic, but he does really well to find the pass, and Ruben Dias can bring Manchester City forward. Here is Kyle Walker. Young Boys looking to really put the squeeze on to City and press Manchester City and try and force that mistake. Tactic of sitting a bit deeper and keeping Manchester City at bay now out of the window. This is a game where they really need to win this game. Young Boys, and Haaland into the penalty area. He's got support and tries to get a corner. He doesn't. It comes off the foot of Haaland, and he slams the advertisement board in frustration that he's ended up giving a goal kick, a cheap goal kick. Haaland looks motivated. He's got a point to prove. I think Haaland's only going to do 45 minutes, so I think he's putting everything into this 45 minutes. I don't think we'll see him for the second half, regardless of what's happening here, I think is the plan. I'm surprised he starts. I wouldn't have. Here's Itten. Drops deep, gives the ball, received well. Itten once more. First time football. It's good stuff, but it's slightly too heavy. Can't be kept in by Elia. And that will be a throw into Manchester City. as we're now just 2 likes away from 50 likes. Kyle Walker with the throw-in. Throws to Ederson. Works it to the left-hand side then. Here's Josko Gvardiol for Manchester City. Gives the ball to Johnny Stones. Rico Lewis. Brilliant football. And Matheus Nunes just couldn't take that into his stride. Could have potentially played Haaland in had he got that under control. He doesn't. Nothing amounts from the young boys pass forward straight into the arms of Ederson. And he'll just roll that out to Stones. Here is Stones now to Josko Gvardiol. Here's Matheus Nunes. And this midfield for City's causing young boys all kinds of problems. Lewis popping up everywhere. Matheus Nunes, Kovacic having very good games. City just dominating this. John Stones is like an isolated man. He's literally playing almost like a centre-back, almost like a back four for Manchester City. Is such the gap of the midfield and defence, but it doesn't need to be narrowed down or closed down because young boys just can't get out of their half at the minute. Here is Jack Grealish. Works the ball to Stones now. He's got options to the right. Uses Matheus Nunes. Here's Phil Foden. Chooses not to play a pass into the channel for Matheus Nunes. He goes with a sensible pass back into traffic, so forced backwards. Excuse me. Manchester City fan, thanks for tuning in. I didn't watch it, but I saw what had happened. I saw Australia were 92 for 7, chasing, I think it was 290 odd to win. Needed a partnership of over 200. Was it Pat Cummins that was in with him? Made 12 of them 200. Glenn Maxwell, former Lancashire man, 201 not out. Amazing stuff. And Australia seal qualification to the semi-final of the Cricket World Cup as well, joining South Africa and India. Pakistan, Afghanistan, who else is up there doing battle? And New Zealand doing battle for the final semi-final spot. England are bottom at the moment. Been a bit of a joke. They've got the Netherlands coming up. I can't remember if that's tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not really that interested. It's that qualification that's really interesting. It's a big blow for Afghanistan. They had the tournament of their lives. They'd nearly have qualified if they'd won, and they probably should have won. 92 for 7. Australia chasing 290 to win. They have no right to win that game. Outstanding effort from Glenn Maxwell. Outstanding effort. Great challenge there from Ruben Dias for Manchester City to win the ball back. And once more, City just a bit lackadaisical. Itten gets the ball back here for young boys. And Kyle Walker's felt the impact there. And a free kick given against Kyle Walker. The referee's just risen his hand to give a free kick and whacked Rico Lewis in the face. Keith, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Do hope you are well. Now just 1 like away from 50 likes. Nearly halfway to our goal. 32 minutes in here at the Etihad. City lead by a goal to 0. Erling Haaland, 23 minutes in from the spot, giving City the lead. Stays the same. Man City into the last 16 of the Champions League. But we will still have work to do against RB Leipzig in 3 weeks' time when we come back after the international break. As we want first place. Here's Josko Gvardiol. Remember that sandwich between games between Liverpool and Tottenham at home. Erling Haaland plays a ball into the box, picked up by young boys, and they can come forward there. Good play that by City. No real support there. There was just Foden in the box. 4 defenders. Relatively easy for the defenders to defend a cross coming into Foden. And they can get the ball clear. Excuse me. So 12 minutes plus whatever's to be added on here left of the first half. Young boys just knocking the ball around. City looking to put them under pressure. They're going to have to send this one long, and the keeper does. Under pressure, and header won there by Kovacic, but with the 2 attackers up there, Elia it is to win the ball, means that they can come away with the ball here, young boys. Go with an early crossing. Ederson reads that one and will collect. No harm done. Here's John Stones to Ruben Dias. He's got Ederson for support. Uses Ederson. Is Ederson going to go long here and try and pick out a pass, or is he just going to play a sensible pass? He is going to play that sensible pass to Ruben Dias, and City can come away with the football on this right-hand side. Here is Kyle Walker in for the ill Manuel Akanji that was meant to be starting this game. Said it was going to be nice to have Kyle Walker have a bit of a rest, but none of that. Here is Walker. Goes long, deep into the channel. Picked off really well by Erling Haaland. Here is Matheus Nunes now. Tries to put a ball across. He will get a throw in for City off Kamara. He wanted handball, I think, Nunes. Then it looked like it came off his either his chest or chin on the upper parts of his body rather than his arm for me. Anyway, throwing for City, work towards the left-hand side. Gvardiol just forced backwards to Ruben Dias. Here is Kovacic. City just looking for that ball retention to dominate the ball and let Young Boys chase shadows, literally. Seen very little of the ball, and when they do have the ball, they're not keeping hold of it for long enough, Young Boys. Matheus Nunes draws in the challenge. He wants the free kick. Referee says play on because City are in a good position. And Walker goes to the back post. And Erling Haaland's there. And he makes contact, but it's not clean contact. It's almost like he thought, if I get my foot onto this, it goes into the back of the net. And Kyle Walker's whipped ball in, just has all the pace taken off by, it's good defending at the back post. Haaland can't have his tapping that he's looking for. And just that touch takes it away from Haaland's foot and onto his knee. And takes all the pace away. Pep Guardiola not happy with that one. Felt that should have been 2-0 Manchester City. Erling Haaland raises his eyebrows. Matheus Nunes is back on his feet. Looks perfectly fine to be going. Here for Manchester City. 1-0 City lead, 36 minutes in. Matheus Nunes looking to press. He's going to be penalised that. Just going through the back of the Young Boys players. Calf is a free kick. He'll be looking to escape a booking for that, Nunes. I think he is going to escape a booking, and I think that's what the Young Boys players are just saying to the referee. A couple of their players already into the book feel like Nunes should have gone into the book there, and I think Nunes has got away with a booking there for me. He knows what he's doing. He's dragging his left foot down the back of the calf of the Young Boys player. He goes down. There's no malice in it. Just a bit bull in the china shop kind of challenge. So Manchester City dominating this game. 8 shots, 5 on target, 1 goal. Young Boys not having much possession, no attempts, nothing on target. Ederson must be bored. As we surpass 50 likes now. We are now 49 likes away from 100 likes. So any help towards that, guys, would be much appreciated. Do subscribe as well if you are new around here. That would be fantastic. Remember, we've got another live watch along coming up on Sunday afternoon for you guys to enjoy. Manchester City taking on Chelsea away. We're going live at 4 p.m. GMT with a game kicking off at 4:30. Big Premier League game that. Before we head into another international break. Oh. Not a fan of these international breaks. There's just too many. September, October, November, 3 in 3 months. Too many. And you don't have any till March. I just don't understand why they don't space them out. August full of football. International break in September. October full of football. International break in November. Full of football in December. Winter break in January for a couple of weeks. Full of football through February, international break in March. Football right through from there, through April and the business end into May. international break at the end of May and into June. Easy. Takes away one international break. And you end up having a spare couple of weeks there where you don't have to have as much congestion for games. And actually opens up the prospect of a couple of weeks in January where you can have a winter break. I'm not a real fan of the winter break through December, and I know it makes a lot of clubs, in particular down that footballing pyramid here in England, a lot of money. But January just tends to be a pretty depressing month. You don't tend to get more than 4 or 5 games of football in. The weather can sometimes be pretty atrocious. Why not have a little winter break in there? Elliot into a good position here for Young Boys. Cross comes in, headed clear by John Stones. A good head on that, and well defended from Jack Grealish, and a well bought free kick from Jack Grealish on the edge of the Manchester City penalty area. And Manchester City can just take the time here and push everybody further afield. 40 minutes in, 1-0 City lead. Forward progress. Thanks for tuning in. I would say, in terms of your bets, the longer this stays at 0-0, the better it is for your bet. This goes 2-0, your bet's done. I don't think City are going to take the foot off the gas till this game's tied up, to be honest. City have got that crucial opening goal. I feel like if Young Boys were to win this game, they needed that opening goal. They need City to have an off day. No, I have my doubts. I have my doubts. George, thanks for tuning in. Oh, man. "42 minutes in here at the Etihad, still 1-0. Young Boys have done a really good job here of just taking the sting away from Manchester City on this game, and City aren't really creating or doing that much. And to be honest, I just feel like these next 3 minutes are pretty important for this game for City just to try and see this one out, because at the moment, we don't look like we've got too much control, and Gvardiol penalised there for a challenge on Itten and a free kick given to Young Boys inside the City half. So City have got everybody now inside their own half. Young Boys just working the ball backwards. They've not really had too much quality in the final third yet, Young Boys, but Manchester City just well and truly have taken the foot off the gas. It's not the best of balls forward, that from Young Boys, and does trickle out of play for a throw into Manchester City. So throw in here for City on our left-hand side, roughly around midway inside our own half. Worked to the centre. Ruben Dias gives it to Ederson. Kovacic dropping deeper this time instead of John Stones. Kyle Walker, captain, picks the ball up for City on the right-hand side. And here's Young Boys putting that pressure onto City. Ruben Dias is going to have to go long with this. 3 players were around him. It's a great ball forward, well held up by Erling Haaland, and Phil Foden's going to win this ball there. And that'll be a well-bought free kick for Manchester City. And that should just allow Manchester City just ease off and push everybody a little bit further forward and ease the pressure on our own goal and try and get to half-time with our lead intact and work from there. It'll be really interesting to see how many minutes Erling Haaland gets if he does come out for the second half. City will have one eye on Chelsea. They will have one eye on his fitness as well. They've got a very strong bench with a lot of rotation in place here for City, and the rotated players, Nunes, Kovacic, Rico Lewis playing in the middle, all look pretty good for me. First half at the moment, but City do lead by a 1-0. As we're now 47 likes away from 100 likes. Less than a minute of regulated time to go here in the first half. Here's Josko Gvardiol inside the Young Boys half, driving Manchester City forward. Kovacic passes, slips, but still finds the pass. Nunes then gives it to Phil Foden on the right-hand side. Back to Matheus Nunes. He's got Rico Lewis further ahead of him if he wants to use him. Kyle Walker on the right. Stones makes a big run forward and eventually just work backwards to Ruben Dias. A safe pass that from Matheus Nunes and another safe pass back to Ruben Dias. I'd like to see a little bit more creativity, a little bit more risk from Manchester City. They do have the creativity. They do have the skill to dissect through this Young Boys midfield and attack. Just needs a little bit more urgency for me. As we go into the 45 minutes done, how long they're going to add on, if anything. Sometimes they don't add anything on in the Champions League. It's just a minute, even though we had a bit of time wasted and a penalty. Just a minute added on here. Here's Jack Grealish, and I'm surprised they've added a minute on. I was expecting him just to blow the whistle. Then Foden, then into the penalty area. Skipped around to wraps that up for Manchester City. So good goal by Phil Foden right on half-time. That's very much job done for Manchester City. And City now will make these changes, you would think, either at half-time or very early in the second half, as City now very much looking like they are heading into the last 16 of the Champions League, and Young Boys sinking without a trace. There's been no urgency from City in the last 15 minutes, and then just a little bit of an injection. Grealish works it to Foden, gets goal side of the defender. He slides in, misses his challenge, and it's a great finish from Foden. I love that Erling Haaland goes sliding in, looking for the tap in there. I don't think he's trying to take the goal away from Foden. I think he's just a bit worried about it being off target, but it's such a lovely finish from Foden. On his stronger left foot, goes first time. It's as good of a finish that you'll see, in my opinion. Really good goal that by Phil Foden. 2-0 Manchester City lead. That will take us into half-time. And that is, to me, job done by Manchester City. A very professional first half performance for City. Very professional. Phil Foden made that goal look very simple. It was anything but. I think it was a really good, well-taken goal. And Young Boys now need a response. They need a very bright, very quick start in the second half. Referee's still not blown the whistle for half-time here yet. Ball gets played forward. Johnny Stones takes a touch, and he'll get that one clear for Manchester City, and that'll go out for a throw into City as well. And the referee says that will be that. And the half-time whistle does go. Manchester City leading here by 2-0. So, Erling Haaland, shirt comes off, hands it over already. Perhaps tells you all you need to know that Erling Haaland maybe isn't going to come out for this second half. I reckon Erling Haaland's match is done. I really do. So 23 minutes in, penalty won by Matheus Nunes, stroked home by Erling Haaland, and then 45 minutes plus one in added on time. Phil Foden with a lovely, well-taken goal means Manchester City lead by 2-0. Good work from Manchester City. Julia happy with that of Phil Foden. So we'll just have a very quick look at the stats. I'm going to go through the scores, and we've got some halftime entertainment as well for you guys to enjoy. So we'll have a look at the stats first and foremost for this game. As you can see, Manchester City were 20-1 on favourites to win this game. We're now 750-1 on favourites. 500-1 for Young Boys to come back second half and win this game. 100-1 just for the draw. Job done as far as I'm concerned for Manchester City. Dominating this game. City with just under 70% possession. 9 shots, 6 on target. 2 goals. Professional. Good. 30% possession for Young Boys. No shots. None on target. Is today the day we keep our first Champions League clean sheet. Young Boys, a very impressive 84% pass completion rate for a team having 30% possession and no shots. Manchester City, 91% pass completion rate, having 70% of the ball, creating a couple of clear-cut opportunities, doing very well. A couple of corners for City, 2 for City, none for Young Boys. 50% tackle completion rate won by City, 71.4% by Young Boys. Very impressive, that. Aerial duels as well, 25% for City, 75% for Young Boys. 3 saves for their keeper to make. Nothing for bored Ederson to do. 2 fouls committed for City with no yellow cards. 13 fouls committed for Young Boys with 2 yellow cards. And 2 yellow cards, as you can see from the teams, have gone to Benito, the centre-back, on 15 minutes and Lorpa on 19 minutes, who also conceded the penalty, as well as an assist for Jack Grealish. That'll make him feel better. I said he'll be looking today to try and get in the City team for the match against Chelsea. The way he does that is by grabbing goals and assists. So getting a goal will make him feel better. Foden will be happy with his goal. Haaland, I'm not expecting to see in the second half, grabbing his goal for Manchester City as well. As I said, it's been a very clean, very professional performance from Manchester City so far, and I'm very happy with that. So do let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Are you happy with that and how things are going? Do let me know. Right here, we're going to go around the grounds in a moment. Andy says doesn't like the shirts exchanged at half time. They should be done and dusted. Come on, City. I presume Haaland's done that for one reason, and that's because he's not going to be coming out for the second half and handing his shirt over. Otherwise, save that for... I don't even think it should be done on camera. I think it should be done in the tunnel or afterwards, once the players are doing shaking their hands, once they've gone in and had the team talking everything at full time, and they come back out and greet each other, is when shirt exchanges should be done, in my complete honest opinion. But there we go. It's just my opinion. Teddy asking, what are my thoughts on the poor officiating and VAR decisions? Very interesting. I'll give my very quick opinion on this. I'm not a real fan of Liverpool and Arsenal's approach of these public statements being put out there. You don't need to be doing that. Keep things private. It makes you look like a sore loser. Manchester City could have put a statement out after the United game of the poor officiating that we had. We didn't. We kept the thoughts to ourselves. Would I have liked Man City to have put a statement out there? It would have made me feel better. But in hindsight, I think it would have been a bit embarrassing to have done that. And I get that the Liverpool and Arsenal fans will like the statements, that it's making them feel better, that the club are defending themselves against poor officiating. But I think it was put really well by Spurs manager yesterday that it's everybody gets bad decisions. Some games you're going to get decisions that go in your favour and no one's going to speak about it because it's gone in your favour. Other times it's not going to go your way and you're going to be angry about it. It balances itself out. Arsenal have decisions go their way all the time, just like they have decisions go against them. Liverpool have it. City have it. United have it. It's everywhere. The inept officiating of the Premier League, and it's rife throughout English football. I'll tell you that right now. I've watched several games up and down the leagues, not just in the EFL, go into the non-league. It's rife there as well. In fact, it's even worse. They don't even have VAR to back them up. And it's terrible, the decision-making. And the people in charge of VAR, they're the same people that are officiating the matches. It's terrible right through. It needs revolutionising. I agree with the statements that are made by Liverpool, by Arsenal, that something needs to be done. You need to be held accountable. But I think you need, rather than issuing apologies and statements and things, I just think you need more clear public communication. If there's a VAR decision inside the stadium, those inside the stadium have no idea what's going on other than there's a VAR check and what it's for. They might say potential penalty. They've not seen the foul. They don't get to see the replay until the decision's been made, but those watching at home can see that. Well, get it out inside the stadiums. Let the fans know what they can see. Do what they do in cricket. Do what they do in rugby. Mic the referees up. Mic the VAR people up. Mic them all up. Let them speak. Let everybody hear what they can say and announce their decisions and why they've made them decisions. From there, you can start to move forward. You will still get wrong decisions. It still happens in cricket. It still happens in rugby. But it's explained to you. And the technology is starting to, if put right, and you get given a margin for error in cricket, and in rugby, it's clearly explained to you, then you know what way you're going forward. Have a good watch of the Rugby World Cup, the officiating at times wasn't great, but it was clear communication. You could clearly hear the referees who were mic'd up, shouting at the players, telling them if they're offside, don't move, don't move. If they do, penalty given. Well, it could be the same in football. Referee can clearly tell somebody, you're in offside, or the linesman can say offside position. You carry on making your run. You don't need to wait for your flag. Flag goes up. I told you you was offside. You are offside. Job done. Penalties as well. Mic them up. Let them speak. Right, he goes down over his foot. There's not enough in that for me. I'm not giving the penalty. Or there's enough in that for me. I'm going to overturn the decision. Bam. In we go. Job done. Penalty given. You will still get bad decisions being made. It just gives it or makes things a little bit clearer for everybody, because that's just one of many problems. I think you also need to go back to school, really, when it comes to officiating, and let them learn more about the bad decisions that are being made. And as I said, Liverpool and Arsenal aren't the only ones to feel the impact of bad decisions. It's just they're the big clubs, so you hear about it. Other people, they get really badly affected by it. Really badly affected by it. So, yeah, they're my thoughts. Jack, thanks very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Sub2, thanks for tuning in as well. Last I looked, we wasn't on 143 likes, and we're not on 143 likes, but thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. At MCFR, thanks for tuning in as well. Much appreciated. So before we get on with our halftime entertainment, I'm very quickly going to go around the grounds to keep you guys up to date with everything that's happening so far. Early kickoffs in the Champions League finished Borussia Dortmund 2, Newcastle United 0. Newcastle United now in a lot of bother to qualify for the last 16 of the Champions League. Borussia Dortmund looking like they're in a good position. Shakhtar Donetsk picked up a brilliant win in Poland today, beating Barcelona by 1-0 as well. Atletico Madrid, they're 2-0 up at home against Celtic at half-time. Crvena Zvezda 0, Leipzig 1 at half-time, putting Leipzig into a strong position as well, sealing qualification into the last 16 of the Champions League, along with Manchester City as it stands. FC Porto are 1-0 up against Royal Antwerp at home at half-time. Lazio also 1-0 up against Feyenoord at half-time in Italy. Manchester City 2, Young Boys 0. And finally, AC Milan 1, PSG 1 at the San Siro. In the EFL trophy taking place, all full-time scores near enough these. Wimbledon 2, Crystal Palace under-21s 0. Barrow 2, Liverpool under-21s 1. Cambridge 4, Tottenham Hotspur under-21s 1. Fleetwood 4, Leicester under-21s 0. Forest Green Rovers 0, Brighton and Hove Albion under-21s 0. That's gone to penalties to determine the winner. Gillingham 0, Fulham under-21s 1. Leyton Orient 1, Portsmouth 2. Lincoln 2, Notts County 0. Mansfield 0, Everton under-21s 1. Oxford 5, Chelsea under-21s 0. And these are all later scores in the second half. It's Doncaster 2, Burton 0. Cheltenham 0, West Ham under-21s 3. Wrexham 0, Port Vale 1. And Crawley 2, Aston Villa under-21s 2. In the National League North, Banbury United 0, Scunthorpe 2. Bishop Stortford 0, Alfreton Town 1. Blythe Spartans 3, Southport 1. Chester Tamworth's been postponed. Farsley Celtic 1, Boston 0. Hereford 1, Brackley Town 0. Peterborough Sports 1, Darlington 0. Rushall Olympic 1, Kings Lynn Town 0. Scarborough Athletic 0, Chorley 1. South Shields 0, Buxton 0. And Spennymoor Town 1, Curzon Ashton 0. Excuse me. In the National League North, Braintree Town 4, St Albans City 0. Chippenham Town 1, Farnborough 0. Dartford 1, Chelmsford 1. Dover Athletic 0, Welling United 2, Maidstone 1, Eastbourne Borough 0, Slough Town 3, Truro City 0, Tunbridge Angels 0, Hampton and Richmond 0, Torquay United 0, Yeovil 2, Weymouth 1, Bath City 3, and Worthing 1, Havant and Waterlooville 0, as they all enter the second half. You have also got games taking place north of the border in the Scottish Premiership, and 52 minutes in, it's St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 0. You've also got one game game in League Two, where it's Colchester 1, Swindon Town 1 in the 55th minute. And all around the similar time as well in League One, it's Shrewsbury Town 0, Bolton Wanderers 0, and Wigan Athletic 1, Peterborough United 0. At half-time, it's Reading 1, Bristol City 0, and what will be a big win for Reading if they can hold on there. And there is one game happening in the Championship, important both at the bottom and the top. It's currently at half-time, Rotherham United 1, Ipswich Town 1. Rotherham United taking an early lead, and then Ipswich Town equalising just before the 20-minute mark. And that's 1-1 at half-time. City here looking very comfortable, 2-0 up and looking good for the last 16 with an Erling Haaland penalty and a well-taken Phil Foden goal just before half-time. So don't forget, leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. Now just 41 likes away from 100 likes. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new around here. That'd be much appreciated. Not sure, Ariane, that we're going to be seeing Haaland in the second half, but if we do, maybe it might be hat-trick time. Linus, thanks for tuning in, says maybe some time for bobbing Oscar Bobb to come on. You may well be correct. Super Doku time, you may well be correct. La Arena time as well, you may well be correct in seeing Julian Alvarez for Manchester City as well. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in so far. I'm going to go and get another drink and just chill out for a couple of minutes, and we'll be back ready for the second half. I do have some halftime entertainment lined up for you guys to enjoy. It is brought to you by my partner channel, Mixed. You can go and check him out. Links and details there in the description. And he recently did a cocktail that he says every bartender hates making them. So it's your halftime entertainment. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some snacks, and I'll see you ready for the second half as Manchester City push on to try and get in to the last 16 of the Champions League with a win here. See you then.
Here back again for another summer cocktail, but this is the biggest project I've ever done on the Mixed, for one of the hardest cocktails I've ever made on this channel. So it's the bartender's bane. Can you guess what it is? So with the bartender's bane, it can be none other than the Ramos Gin Fizz. It's a very advanced technique, it's not easy, and it's certainly, it takes a lot of patience to build this cocktail, and you will see why. To get the technique right and get that foam right, because the foam is everything to this cocktail. So let's get straight into it. So to make the Ramos Gin Fizz, what you want to do is get your shaker. So the thing we're not putting in is soda water and the orange blossom water, but I'm using orange bitters because I don't have orange blossom water, so I'm improvising a little bit here. But one thing we can do is build up the other one. So what I'll do, I'll put a Tom Collins glass in the freezer, so I'm going to leave it in there for 3 minutes to let it chill out, but I'll come back to that in a bit. So the first thing going into the tin, guys, is 60ml, 2 ounces of gin. If you are very traditional, you can use a Tom Collins gin, but I'm just using any old gin. I like the Botanis. So next is 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5ml of sugar syrup. Next, 3¼ ounce or 0.75 ounce or 22.5ml of double cream. So with double cream rather than single cream, it gives better results. You should find a better stabiliser. Next, 1/2 ounce or 15ml of fresh lemon juice. Next, 1/2 ounce or 15ml of fresh lime juice. So just for clarification, I have made one, let's say a few hours ago, just for practice, and it's gone very, very well. So next is 1ml of vanilla extract. So what I'm going to do is a little drop of vanilla syrup. Again, I'm improvising. So that's about 3ml. The last thing you want to do now is 1 egg white. So crack it. So it's about 3/4 ounce or 22.5ml of egg white. So what we're going to do is add the spring. It's just so, and you'll see why, is to give it a better head. So it's got to be a dry shake first. And then we'll add that. So we're going to give this a very hard shake for 1 minute. So this is what's called the bartender's vein. It requires a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of patience.
One minute later.
And there we go, 1 minute later. So I've got one giant ice cube here, and you'll see why. You don't want to put in too many ice cubes. So just one giant ice cube should do the trick. So I took the spring out this time, and what we'll do is give it a nice hard shake until that ice block has dissolved. Give it a nice bang, nice and secure. And now, a good hard shake again until that's melted. So you can hear it banging. So we're going to keep shaking until I'll no longer hear that noise. Because it'll be dead cold and dead ice. And then what we'll do, we'll get the Tom Collins glass out the freezer. My arms are tired.
One eternity later.
There we go, it's finally melted. A minute later. So let's get our Tom Collins glass out the freezer. Right, so now we've got one Tom Collins glass. As you can see, it's nice and freezing and it's nice and cold. So let's strain into it. So put your strainer on, put it to one side. What we're going to do now is add 45ml or 1.5 ounce of soda water. And just add a drop of orange bitters. It should be blossom water, this orange blossom water. So now we'll go slowly straight into our Tom Collins glass now. So what we're going to do is leave it in the freezer now for 3 minutes, let it chill out, just to let it settle. Think of it like a pint of Guinness, just let it settle and then we'll top it up with soda and you'll see a nice head on it. So now that it's sat down, what we're going to do is top it up with soda water now. So create a nice little hole in the middle. But doesn't it look fantastic? Just look at that phone. But there we have it, one Ramos Gym Fizz, and doesn't it look fantastic? The foam makes it, because it's not quite to the extent. I'll just show you the first attempt. It went a little bit better than this. I'll just show you the head on the first one. So as you can see, this is the first attempt. The foam was a lot more stabilised than this one. It's both good attempts, but the first one was even better. Just want to show you the first one. You can see the foam goes up a little bit higher without spilling, so it's a lot more stabilised, this one. And with the first one, what I didn't do, I didn't put the spring in, so maybe it made it a little bit worse. I'm not sure, but that is a Ramos Gym Fizz. The bartender's bane, but once it's done properly, it looks fantastic. It just takes time, effort, and a lot of shaking. But that, guys, is the Ramos Gym Fizz. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, one Ramos Gym Fizz. Final thing to do now. How does it taste? Ah, smashing. Because it's not your usual gin with the sourness. You can taste it, but it's a little bit strange with the vanilla extract or vanilla syrup in my case, especially with the cream. So it sweetens it up, so it's a strange balance, but I like it. It tastes absolutely lovely though. Because I don't think I wish is probably... I'm not an expert bartender to try and get the foam absolutely massive like I'm still very proud of my effort, especially with the first one, so that was even better than this one. But if I was to rate it, it's 10 out of 10 just for the showmanship, just to show that I can make a Ramos Gym Fizz on this channel. It's finally being done. It's one of the hardest cocktails to make. It just requires a lot of effort and very little room for error. You just got to get everything right with the measurements. Got to say how much to put in, how long to shake for. Everything has to be precision. But that, guys, is a Ramos Gym Fizz. Thank you for getting us 2K. But I will be doing a special 2K video that is 5 summer cocktails you must try this summer, as they've been my personal favourite summer cocktails I've been making for that special video. So I do thank you all. So now on 2.01k, so we are on the road again. Because our next goal will be 5k. But this has been the Ramos Gym Fizz. Do let me know in the comments below if you ever attempted to make this horrible horrible time-consuming cocktail, because I can see why bartenders hate it. I hated doing that. It requires a lot of shake, a lot of effort. But that, guys, has been Ramos Gym Fizz. I've been Mixid. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mixid for more cocktails like this, and I will see you guys for another summer cocktail. Cheers. Feel like an expert bartender at last. Oh no!
I love that outtake. That's so funny. Rightio, guys. I thought rather than disrupt Mixid's majestic creations there, because that to me is one of Mixid's best videos that he's ever done, and a lot of hard work went into it. So rather than disrupt, I thought I'd let that play on in the hope that nothing would happen. And that's how my luck goes. Of course, things start to happen. So, firstly, we're just seeing a fantastic goal scored by Erling Haaland. City just drive forward. Haaland's in space, 20, 25 yards out, running towards the left-hand side, goes with his left foot, goes strong, goes across the keeper, into the back of the net. A well-taken, lovely goal. Phil Foden's goal that he scored for the second was fantastic. The Haaland one was even better. He's on a brace, sitting on a hat-trick. Could we see another Haaland hat-trick? He's come out at half-time and come back out for Manchester City. So what that shirt-swapping thing was all about, I'm not too sure. And then we've just seen Sandro Lorpa sent off for Young Boys for a challenge on Nathan Ake. He's come on at half-time for John Stones. It was a rash, high challenge, warranted a red card, in my opinion, for the initial challenge. The referee's given him a second yellow card for it. So rather than it being a couple of game ban for violent conduct, it is for a second yellow card only going to be a 1 game suspension rather than him missing the rest of the group stage. So he's been sent off. Lorpa off. Young Boys down to 10. They're getting frustrated. They're 3-0 down, and Erling Haaland on a hat-trick. Things we love to see. And that third for Manchester City will wrap things up. I imagine we're probably going to see a few more minutes of Erling Haaland, and that's probably going to be that for this game, you would think. And Man City will look to try and rotate this one. They were on about the amount of space that Young Boys are offering. It's a good chance for the likes of Julian Alvarez and Bernardo Silva to come on. For me, the likes of them, they're going to be starting against Chelsea. They don't need to come on, in my opinion. I'd just be looking to bring on Oscar Bobb, maybe, would be, I think, an option for Manchester City. Looking elsewhere, maybe Kalvin Phillips, bring him on, get him some minutes. Jeremy Doku, give him 10, 15 minutes towards the end. He doesn't really need to come on either. That's as far as it'd go for me. Here's Kovacic now in a good position for Manchester City. Gives the ball to Nathan Ake. Here is Matheus Nunes. Plays a lovely ball in to Rico Lewis, and Jack Grealish looking to try and get in on the action, gets a shot away, but it is saved by the goalkeeper and stops it going 4-0 to Manchester City. This game is done and dusted for me. I wonder at what point we might see City try and take it easy on Young Boys. And just as we mentioned, Kalvin Phillips potentially coming on. He is stripped and ready to be coming on in the next couple of minutes. As Boy Race says, definitely give him a run out. Don't need to give minutes to people that don't need it, in my opinion. So Kalvin Phillips is going to come on. And just looking at Manchester City's midfield and who potentially might come off. I mean, Nathan Ake's gone into that holding midfield role for Manchester City. We've got Mateo Kovacic, maybe. He started the last game and maybe could be starting against Chelsea, his former team. He could be given the nod maybe to take him off. I mean, elsewhere, maybe Foden, if we wanted to. I'm not too sure. You want to go with a winger. If we wanted to go down that angle, you'd probably go like for like and bring Oscar Bobb on and Phil Foden off. I reckon it'll be Kovacic that makes way, or maybe Kyle Walker or Ruben Dias. Here's Young Boys just trying to get going. 58 minutes in here at the Etihad. 3-0 City lead. Young Boys preparing their own substitutions. So don't forget, guys, leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. Now just 39 likes away from 100 likes. Do subscribe as well if you are new around here. Here's Matheus Nunes now to Ruben Dias. Kyle Walker to Rico Lewis. Kalvin Phillips could come on for Erling Haaland here. Have Kalvin sit a little bit deeper. Don't play with a striker and maybe put someone like Matheus Nunes or Phil Foden up top. It all depends. I'd like to see Oscar Bobb come on. It allows City just to move things up because Oscar Bobb could go up top for Manchester City. Here's Kovacic. Jack Grealish now. Orivo, thanks for tuning in. It's very much game, set, and match now, you fancy, in favour of Manchester City. Here's Phil Foden. City not done yet. Foden! Good save from the keeper and out for a corner. Stings the hands of the goalkeeper. And on the hour mark, City going to have themselves another corner here. Corner starting to go up now. As I had predicted, 10 plus corners. So substitutions are going to be made now, and Oscar Bobb is going to come on. So it's going to be Kyle Walker that comes off. He wasn't meant to be starting this game. He's going to come off, and Kalvin Phillips is going to come on. That's going to allow Ruben Dias to go to that right-hand side. He's going to take over the captain's armband as well. Nathan Ake will go in at the heart of Manchester City's defence, and Kalvin Phillips will sit just ahead of him. And Oscar Bobb's going to come on, and that's going to be for Erling Haaland, who's not going to get his hat-trick. Scored from the penalty spot on 23 minutes, and a lovely, well-taken goal for his third on 51 minutes has wrapped things up here for Manchester City, and his evening is done, and we'll see him on Sunday against Chelsea. Great chance to see more of Oscar Bobb. Good to see. Corner here for City. Matheus Nunes to take. I'd like to see a Kovacic or Matheus Nunes goal. Get their opening goal for City. It'd be good to see. Or a Josko Gvardiol goal. Anyway, corner. Can Matheus Nunes do from it? Floats a ball in. Finds Josko Gvardiol. Oh, it's a good block. Nearly his first goal. Takes a touch in the penalty area. You can't afford to be letting any City player take a touch in the penalty area from a corner. Poor defending from Young Boys. And Jack Grealish looked like that went out of play. It hasn't. And he's played a pass forward and it's gone straight to Itten. Here's Elia now. Not really seen much of Elia in this game. He was so lively in the match at the Etihad Stadium, and it's just given away. And here's Oscar Bobb. He's got no support. On your own, Oscar. On your own. Tries to turn. He can't, and Young Boys surround him out. Here's Young Boys then coming forward. Are down to 10 men, remember. Manchester City are going to take the foot off the gas. It looks like Matheus Nunes is going to play in a more advanced role. It is going to be Oscar Bobb playing as the striker. I don't see where Man City make any more substitutions in this game, to be honest. As I said, Jeremy Doku, maybe. Other than that, I don't really need to make them. Here is Rico Lewis then to Phil Foden. Matheus Nunes now. Ball camped firmly again inside the Young Boys half. And Matheus Nunes had a good game. Challenges past one challenge. Rico Lewis into a good position. Receives the pass from Phil Foden. He goes down. He wants a penalty. Referee says it's a goal kick. City already had one penalty. Rico Lewis not happy about that. Felt like he should have had a penalty. He pulls out of the challenge, the defender, to be fair. Rico Lewis finds the contact, goes down, albeit a little bit too easily. Because the defender's just kind of stood still, it's almost like Rico Lewis is out-muscled, and I think that's a weak claim for a penalty, if I'm honest. I think the referee's got that one right. Here's Matheus Nunes, drives forward again. He looks so lively. All he needs is that burst of energy. Someone like Jeremy Doku would be having a field day out here. Here's Foden into space, and Kamara does well. Makes the block for Young Boys. As there's a flare on the pitch. A blue flare, so I presume chucked from the City end. I presume a steward's going to come on and remove that flare now. As the referee says, I'm going to stop play. I want that flare removing off the pitch. So Young Boys are going to make a couple of changes of their own now. It's not really worked this evening for them, and they look like they're on the way out of the Champions League, competing with Red Star to try and get a Europa League spot, as Miguel Chewa is going to come on for Cedric Itten. It's just not worked for Itten tonight, the centre forward. And Blum is the next player coming on, and it's Sadie Janko that is coming off for Young Boys. So a couple of substitutions made there, and play's going to get back underway, and Manchester City are going to resume with the ball. Here is Ruben Dias then, gives the ball to Nathan Ake. 25 minutes of this game remaining. Job firmly done here by City. They'll want to keep hold of the clean sheet, I think. Qualifying for the last 16, 2 games to spare. It's job done. Leipzig need to overturn in the next match a 2-goal deficit that we beat them by at the Red Bull Arena. So it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to do that. Man City aren't going to be able to go full rotation for that game, but will be able to rotate a bit. And I think the team that's gone out tonight would be a similar team that I'd be going with against Leipzig, to be honest. I'd rotate after the Liverpool game, and it'll be a good chance for the likes of Rico Lewis, Oscar Bobb, Matheus Nunes, Mateo Kovacic, Kalvin Phillips. A good chance for them to all get some minutes. And what I'm looking for here is see if Jack Grealish can grab himself a goal, because I think someone like Jack Grealish is going to be very important in the games coming forward against the likes of Liverpool, against Chelsea, against Spurs, against Villa. He's going to be needed. So free kick here for City, about 35 yards out. Matheus Nunes just going to float one towards Phil Foden, nodded down. Nobody's there and hooked clear. I wonder if Matheus Nunes was going to be tempted just to have a shot, as Rico Lewis under pressure there just puts the ball out of play for a throw. And I don't think he was too comfortable with his surrounding there. So he takes the option of, I'll put the ball out instead and get the City players back to regroup. And I think Pep Guardiola would have been looking for Rico Lewis to play a confident pass back to goalkeeper Ederson, which is why Rico Lewis just apologised, but obviously didn't feel comfortable with the pressure he'd been put under to play that pass. Here's Jack Grealish, does well, gets hold up play and gets the free kick there for Manchester City as well. So City 3-0 up here. Young Boys down to 10 men. There's 23 minutes remaining. We don't have to think about goal difference. We don't have to think about anything. We just have to think about being injury-free. And I think City are just going to try and coast this one to the end, to be honest. A lot of rotation out there, so they'll all be thinking about putting in a good performance, trying to get them goals and assists. So they're giving Pep Guardiola a bit of a selection headache in the games to come. Here's Grealish. Goes down. That'll be another free kick. Won by Jackie G. On the edge of the penalty area. It's very much in a crossing position rather than in a shooting position, as it is closer to the byline than it is to the edge of the corner of the penalty area going back to goal. So on the left-hand side, there's a chance here to put a ball into the box, unless they're going to go for a near post shot or lob the keeper with some kind of cross-come shot. I think it's probably much easier just to go for the cross, and that's why the likes of Gvardiol and Ruben Dias have come forward for Manchester City. So it's Jack Grealish who won the free kick to take this for Manchester City. What's he going to do? He's going to go for goal, and Kalvin Phillips gets in the way, and Phil Foden tried to get something away, and Kalvin Phillips got in the way of that as well. Sums up how Kalvin Phillips' time at Manchester City has gone so far, as I suspect Kalvin Phillips probably won't be a Manchester City player by the end of the January transfer window, if the rumours are to be believed. Here is Nathan Ake then for Manchester City coming forward. Matheus Nunes gives the ball to Josko Gvardiol inside the Young Boys half. Young Boys down to 10 men, camped inside their own half. They're 3-0 down. What do you do if you're a Young Boys player? You just damage limitations, really. Here is Mateo Kovacic now. He's got options. Gives it to Ruben Dias now. On the right-hand side, Rico Lewis receives the ball on the right wing. Thought about putting a cross in. Doesn't want to go onto his weaker left foot. Gives it to Kalvin Phillips, who has a shot himself and just wide via a deflection. Not too far away there by Kalvin Phillips, and out for a corner to Manchester City. A good sidestep that by Kalvin Phillips. I wonder if that came off Phil Foden. I'm not sure. Anyway, here's Matheus Nunes. He's played really well for City. Finds Jack Grealish, has a shot and well blocked by Young Boys, who go down. City really not happy with that. In a great crossing position, a chance to put a ball into the box. He makes the block with his thigh and he remains down, and referee stops the play. City not happy about this, as Atletico Madrid have now gone 4-0 up against Celtic. Just having a look around the grounds. AC Milan are now 2-1 up against Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain in a lot of bother in that group in the Champions League. Leipzig still ahead against Red Star in Serbia. St. Johnston 2, Motherwell 2 now. Bolton's taken the lead against Shrewsbury away from home. Rotherham Ipswich still 1-1. Boy Racer. I'd love to have gone to that. It'd be such an experience. I saw somebody describe it on the Blue Moon Forum as that edgy experience that I'm looking for from a European away day. And I think that's the perfect way of summing it up. I don't think there'll be any trouble. I don't think there'll be any bother. It'll just be an intimidating away day that would be a brilliant experience. And I'm sure Belgrade's a nice place to go and visit too. And it'd just be such an interesting place to go and visit to watch a game of football, described by the Red Star fans as hell is how they describe it. The tunnel's something else, the stadium's something else as well. And it is a match that I wanted to go to, of the pick of the 3 away matches, because I'll have access to get tickets for all 3 of the away matches. That was the match I wanted to go to, and it unfortunately falls when I can't have any annual leave at work, so I can't go to that game, unfortunately. I'd love to have gone. I'd rather have done that than Leipzig, but Leipzig was the one we ended up going for because that was the one that was more achievable for us. But anyone going to Red Star will be a brilliant experience, I'm sure. And Red Star, they're a very big team, Zvezda Zvezda. Really big team. Bags of potential. They're big up on the basketball. They've got American football out there as well. It's mental as Matheus Nunes goes close for City, and Rico Lewis is moving away, play the pass, Kova wide. City just hesitated too much there. Oral, thanks very much for tuning in. Young Boys are 3-0 down to 10 men. They're not seeing any of the ball. City look more likely to score next than Young Boys, if I'm honest. Young Boys they've not had a shot all game. They've not created anything. They've not done anything. Down to 10 men and 3-0 down. I don't think that's going to change. We've got nothing to lose, of course, but I just don't think they've got the quality, and the heads have dropped. And City are just in firm control here. You won't see a more controlled performance at the Etihad this season in the Champions League, I don't think. Like from minute 1 right through to now, Man City have just had firm control of dictating absolutely everything that's happened on this pitch. And with a rotated team as well, this has been a very clean, very fluent performance from City, and perfect preparation for the match against Chelsea at the weekend, who will be watching this. Grealish in the penalty area, gives it to Foden over the top of the crossbar. Just over 20 yards out, going for it on the volley. Probably better options out wide. Rico Lewis had just cut inside on that right wing, would have been probably the better option in acres of space. I think Haaland, 2 reasons. You can look at it to keep him hungry. He keeps grabbing hat-tricks all the time. The hunger and desire is going to disappear. Doesn't get a hat-trick in this game. See if he can get a hat-trick in the next one. But I think the bigger reason is he limped off at the weekend. And I'm surprised he started this game, to be honest, with such a big game against Chelsea coming up at the weekend. So I'm surprised he came out for the second half, but he did. He's done more minutes than I expected. And I thought at the hour mark was probably the right time for Haaland to go off, just to make sure he doesn't get injured. 3-0 up, the game's done. It doesn't need to be on that pitch anymore. Here is Josko Gvardiol, plays a pass forward to Mateo Kovacic, his Croatian teammate. On the left-hand side, here is Jack Grealish now. I thought Mateo Kovacic could have made that overlapping run. It never came. And in the end, City forced to go to the right-hand side. Very happy with how City have played. It's been a good performance from City. A well-deserved 3 points. I do want to say fair credit to the Young Boys fans. Made plenty of noise out there, put on some good displays, have been well behaved, made some good noise, travelled in good numbers from Switzerland. Not an easy journey to do. Respect that. Do I respect that? Poor giveaway this by Young Boys, and Oscar Bobb's in space, and Foden just takes one touch too many. And Young Boys can nearly bring that one clear. Matheus Nunes is right up there for my JSGC man of the match. Obviously, Erling Haaland's going to get that bag in a brace for Manchester City, but Matheus Nunes, I have been impressed for the first time in a Manchester City shirt. I've been impressed with Matheus Nunes this evening. And that fills me with confidence, because there's lots of important games coming up. We're going to be playing every 3 to 4 days. It's a busy December schedule coming up as well. So to me, these rotated players, they do need to step up. And the likes of Grealish, the likes of Matheus Nunes, I want to see more from them. And I've been impressed with what I've seen of Matheus Nunes today. As Uriel Amenda goes into the book for a pretty nasty challenge on Jack Grealish that he felt through the back of his calf, his massive calf that he's got, of course. Surprised they felt any pain, if I'm honest. Person's going to come on. Noah Person for Young Boys going to come on for Ulysses Garcia. He comes off. Another change for Young Boys. And they're going to make their 4th change of the evening. And it's going to be goal scorer from the last match at the Etihad Stadium, Elia coming off, and Gan Vula coming on for the Young Boys of Bern. So Manchester City got a couple of substitutions left to use. Young Boys have got 1. I think if we are to see any subs, I think it might be Doku that we might see come on. Manuel Akanji taken ill, not feeling very well, I presume. Was set to start this game ahead of Kyle Walker, so he's not available for selection. I don't see Man City wanting to risk the likes of Bernardo Silva and Julian Alvarez and Rodri for this game, and we're not going to make a change in net. So I think if there is to be any option, Jeremy Doku for 10 minutes could be the option if City are to make a forfeit. I imagine City probably aren't going to make any more subs. Foden bursts forward, tries to find the pass to Oscar Bobb. Rico Lewis tries to burst forward. It's a good interception from Young Boys. They just can't get out. And that's really good work from City. And that'll be a free kick. And Ruben Dias and Matheus Nunes combined. I think it was Diaz chucked to the ground there. Niasse it was with the interception or attempt of the interception. And it is going to be Jeremy Doku for the final 10 minutes that's going to come on. And I think this will be City's final change of this game. And I imagine this will probably be Phil Foden that's going to come off for Manchester City. Here is Mateo Kovacic now, gives the ball to Kalvin Phillips. Ruben Dias now goes for a cross. It's a good cross and headed behind by Young Boys and out for a corner. John, have a great time walking around the illuminations in Blackpool, tuning into the JSGC channel with Manchester City winning as well. And it's Mateo Kovacic that's going to come off instead of Phil Foden, as Jeremy Doku's going to come on. So I imagine Doku's going to go out wide, and that's going to allow Rico Lewis either on the right-hand side to invert more back into the centre, or he may go on the left-hand side and Jack Grealish is going to invert more into the centre. And Pep Guardiola, with a big smile on his face, gives a big cuddle there to Mateo Kovacic, and Jeremy Doku, the most exciting prospect at Manchester City right now that everyone's speaking about, comes onto the pitch. Doku tells Jack Grealish, you're going into the centre, and Doku's going to go on the left wing for Manchester City. Here is Oscar Bobb to Matheus Nunes. City walking this corner. Oscar Bobb goes with the ball into the box. Kalvin Phillips flicks that on and over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick to Young Boys. So Manchester City, since Young Boys have gone down to 10 men, have not done that much, to be honest. We found that goal from Erling Haaland that sealed the deal. No sooner did we do that Lauper was sent off. And from there, Man City have just kind of taken the foot off the gas. As we're now nearing in on 70 likes, just 4 likes away from 70 likes. So any help towards that would be great. Do subscribe as well. If you are new around here, here's Young Boys coming forward. Can they have their first shot of the game? Can they have their first shot of the game into the penalty area? Some defending for City to do. There's an overlap not used. And City will gather that one up and get that one clear. Here's Phil Foden coming forward, and Man City think about the counter-attack. Jack Grealish fully aware that Jeremy Doku's on the pitch and ready to go for a counter-attack as Openda has just doubled Leipzig's lead in Belgrade, and Doku has a shot and it finds its way through somehow to Matheus Nunes, and just gets a foot onto that and taps it wide, and Pep Guardiola, hands on his head, can't believe it, as Morata's just grabbed a fifth for Atletico Madrid, as Seamus has just informed us. Celtic struggled in Madrid tonight. I'm going to look at the other scores. Leipzig with a 2-0 lead. Lazio are 1-up still. AC Milan are still 2-1 up as well. Very tight. Very tight. I think Young Boys are just a bit frustrated. They play a nice, clean, attacking style of football. It's what we saw in Switzerland. Not really seen that this evening. And not really had an answer for Manchester City. They've just not really found a way to get the attackers involved. Let's not forget, Manchester City are unbeaten in 23 games at the Etihad Stadium. Teams don't come to the Etihad and win here. It just doesn't happen. So it's not easy to come here and play a good game of football. It's very difficult to do. They won't be the first. They won't be the last team to struggle at the Etihad. Some of the best teams in the world come to the Etihad. Real Madrid got absolutely annihilated in the semi-final last year. Bayern Munich got ripped apart. Leipzig lost 7-0 here. It's not an easy place to come. Craig does feature some of my videos sometimes. Has recently moved over to Canada, where he's letting me know that it's nice and sunny in Canada. Love that one. Missing him so much, and love to you as well, my friend, who hope you are settling in well in Canada and having an absolutely fantastic time there. I hope you're savouring every single moment. I'm not jealous at all that you've got some sunshine. It's throwing it down with rain. It's freezing cold here, miserable as ever. But my nightmare, I get to see Craig's name popping up once more, even if it is 7-hour time zone difference and on the other side of the world away. But sure, he's having a fantastic time. Seamus, it's a very bad night for Joe Hart. Conceded 5 against Atletico. I still managed to put him in my bet, mate, because I just love him too much not to put him in my bet, mate team. Excuse me. John, the very same, the Dundee United fan. Henrik's own goal, and Red Star just back into their game in Belgrade. Maybe there's something for RB Leipzig to think of. Jeremy Doku into the penalty area. Grealish works it. Matheus Nunes over the top of the crossbar, trying to get his opening goal for Manchester City. I said he's had a good game. All he's missing is a goal. And I think he's trying too hard to make it happen, and it's just not happening for him right now. So good effort. Just over the top. Got over the top of it. And out for a goal kick to Young Boys. Remains 3-0 here at the Etihad. 5 minutes remaining. Here's Jeremy Doku for Manchester City. Works the ball to Josko Gvardiol. Ruben Dias then gives it to Matheus Nunes. Midway inside the Young Boys half. Here's Phil Foden into the penalty area. Finds Oscar Bobb. Cleared by Young Boys, though. Kalvin Phillips gets a nudge in the back. He wants a free kick. Referee says no. Nathan Ake doesn't know whether to come or go. And all of a sudden, Young Boys bursting forward here. They've got 4 players forward. If they can find the pass, they need to go forward. And they do find that pass here on the right wing into the Manchester City half. So Jeremy Doku for company. And that's brilliant work from Jeremy Doku. Really good work. Fantastic work. Skips past the challenge. Back yourself, Jeremy. Back yourself. Keeps turning backwards. Great work from Jeremy Doku. beaming, full of confidence, fresh from his 1 goal and 4 assists against Bournemouth at the weekend. Here is Matheus Nunes now to Josko Gvardiol. There's space everywhere. Oscar Bobb into the penalty area. He has to turn, and the offside flag goes up, and that will be a free kick to the Young Boys of Bern. So I think my JSGC man of the match is going to go to Erling Haaland today. Bags 2 goals for Manchester City, 1 from the penalty spot and 1 with a gorgeous 20-yard drive into the, say to the top corner, into the corner of the net, midway in height. Not quite the top corner, also not the bottom corner. Lovely, well-taken goal. I think he's going to be my JSGC man of the match. I think Rico Lewis has had another good game for City. I think Ruben Dias has had a good game for City. I think Josko Gvardiol, again, not put a foot wrong for City. Matheus Nunes has had a good game. Grealish has got himself an assist. Phil Foden's looked really lively. But Erling Haaland, a couple of goals, of course, taking that for Manchester City. And my JSGC man of the match. Here's Rico Lewis bursting forward. Ruben Dias, of all players, on the overlap. Captain in Manchester City since Kyle Walker went off. Kalvin Phillips now to Nathan Ake. 3 minutes remaining. Jack Grealish can't find the pass to Oscar Bobb. Young Boys can get that one clear and out of play for a throw-in. And Young Boys can make their final change. Ugrinic comes off and Malez comes on. Darian Malez. An attacking change there for Young Boys. They're looking to try and get that goal. Manchester City do have 1 remaining substitution to make. They've not got any of the young players now left on the bench to use. So if they are to chuck on somebody, it is going to be a senior experienced player that we're more than likely going to be seeing starting at the weekend against Chelsea. So it's not really worth the risk of sending anybody on from City. So I don't think City are going to use up their 5 subs. I think it's just going to be the 4. Right, we're into the 88th minute. Matheus Nunes on the overlap. Tries to get a corner for Manchester City and does get one for Manchester City. So just before we commentate on the corner, do make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, please do leave a thumbs up. Now just 2 likes away from 70 likes. And also don't forget to subscribe if you are new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Here's Oscar Bobb. Lovely disguised pass. Phil Foden. Can we get that goal? Kalvin Phillips. Ruben Dias. Kalvin Phillips is a heavy touch and out of play for a goal kick. Kalvin Phillips has a big smile on his face. It's just not clicked for Manchester City since Young Boys have gone down to 10 men. I think City have just been trying too hard. And it's just not happened. Erling got his shirt in his hand, ready to hand over another shirt, maybe. We're going into the 90th minute now. It's been a good performance for Manchester City today, of course, and good pressing that from Nathan Ake and Jeremy Doku, who's got possession back here for Manchester City, and there may still be time for another goal for City yet. Rico Lewis comes forward to Matheus Nunes on the right-hand side, goes down, wants a free kick, gets back up, linesman doesn't flag. Play on. He was up against Benito there. Worked out to Jeremy Doku, popped up on the right-hand side. He has a burst of acceleration, gives the ball to Jack Grealish. He thinks about the shot. Shot isn't on. There's too many yellow bodies in the way. Nunes goes with the cross, headed clear by Young Boys. 1 player forward for them to gather that one up, holds the ball beautifully, and Young Boys can come forward, but it's too heavy of a touch, and it allows Ruben Dias to come in and make the sliding interception and out for a throw-in to Young Boys on halfway. So I am going to end this live stream almost immediately after the final whistle does go. So do make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, please do leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. We're very close to 70 likes. I'm confident we can hit that before we end the live stream, as we're into the first of 3 minutes added on here at the Etihad. We're going to push in the post-production. We'll see if we can get towards 80 likes. That would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to subscribe if you are new around here. Do leave your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching this after the game. If you're live right now in the live chat, quickly get your comments in whilst we are still live. Also, don't forget as well, social media links, they're in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, email also in the description too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. City are, of course, on course for their first clean sheet. I'm just going to get the stats up for this game. As I said, I am going to end this live watch along almost immediately on the final whistle, so I can do my preview, my review for you guys to enjoy. So Manchester City 3-0 up, as you can see. Erling Haaland from the penalty spot, won by Matheus Nunes on 23 minutes. And then it was Phil Foden just before half-time with a lovely, well-taken goal. Second half, Erling Haaland comes in and strikes a wonderful goal to seal the deal with a third for City. Lorpa sent off a couple of minutes later for a high challenge on Nathan Ake, and it's 3-0, and City look on course for a clean sheet, as well as Jeremy Doku getting the ball forward here to Matheus Nunes. Can he get a ball into the box? He's into the penalty area himself. He's having to twist and turn. There's not many options there for him. So in terms of stats, 71% possession for City, 29% for Young Boys. City 26 shots, 10 on target, 3 goals. Not too shabby. This, though, very impressive. Young Boys, no shots. Not done one shot at all in the Etihad. Closed out well by Manchester City. As Matheus Nunes is in here. Tries to square a ball across. Doesn't work. 9 shots off target. I think that's something that City could improve on going forward into the Chelsea match. 93% pass completion rate nearly. Still an impressive 81% pass completion rate by the Young Boys of Bern. A very impressive tackle completion rate at 83% for Young Boys, 61% for City. Not too shabby at all. Jules for City better in the second half at 57%, 44%. 56% and 44% for the Young Boys of Bern. 2 yellow cards, 1 red card for Young Boys, nothing for Manchester City. And Young Boys can come forward here. 30 seconds remaining. Can they get into the penalty area? Can they have their first shot of the game? That is the question. Thank you very much, Andy. Do appreciate it. Cross comes in from Young Boys. Doesn't amount to anything. Rico Lewis is going to get this one clear. Ethan, thanks for tuning in. Says, should have been more for City. Maybe. I think you're right. City could easily on another day have had 4, 5, 6 goals. I'm happy with the performance that they've put in. It's a rotated team. Win 3-0 at the Etihad. We're into the last 16 of the Champions League. Boom. Foden could get even better here. A good block. Time is up. We're into added time now on added time. And the referee says that is that. And that is Manchester City into the last 16 of the Champions League. Done and dusted. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. As I said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you all again for my match review up within the next hour. Also, don't forget to come and join me live on Sunday for another watch along as Manchester City take on Chelsea. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.